everybody, CT Hippo here. Today I'm going to do something I haven't done in a long time. I'm going to make a tutorial. This is the first in a two-part series about locating and researching shipwrecks from your computer using open source databases. In the first part, we'll learn to use Google Earth to find shallow wrecks and use various resources to locate deeper ones. Then, we'll use the NOAA bathymetry data to verify the wrecks and learn more about them. In the second video, we'll learn how to capture the bathymetry data and re-import it into Google Earth, and then use the tools there to extract even more information that we can use to plan our dives. I'll be putting links in the description for all the websites mentioned so you can follow along and learn to do this for yourself. The neat thing is that people who are thousands of miles from the ocean and have no desire to get in the water can contribute from home. Adventuring should not be a spectator sport, even if you can't leave your house. Google Earth is an amazing and underrated tool for collecting and working with geospatial information. In addition to providing both recent and historical overhead imagery of most of the planet, it also includes a suite of powerful tools to measure, analyze, and integrate that imagery into the real world. To start, go to earth.google.com and wait for it to load. This is the online version of Google Earth, but for what we are doing, we want to download the desktop version. Click on the menu bar on the left side of the screen, and all the way down at the bottom is the link for Download Google Earth on Desktop. Click this, agree to the terms, tell it where you want it to install, and there you go. Once it's installed and updated, you can open the program and you should be presented with a screen that looks something like this. The interface is very intuitive. You can navigate by grabbing the map and moving it around, and zoom in by double-clicking. At the top right of the screen are your main navigation controls. The top circle changes which way you are looking, with N indicating local north. You can click on the N to recenter the map to a north-up orientation. The next circle down is for moving around on the map, and the slider below that controls the zoom. If this is your first time using GE, pause the video now and go play with it. Find your house, check out the pyramids, or visit Area 51. GE is also a powerful tool by itself for finding shipwrecks. You can find all sorts of interesting things by just flying around in the program looking for boat-like objects. With time and practice, you'll get good at interpreting what you are seeing and understanding what is worth a trip to go visit and what's probably just a log. Some wrecks are even marked in the Places database within the program. Once you have Google Earth under control, it's time to start adding outside data. GE uses a pair of data formats, .kml and .kmz, to import and export information. These are actually just text files in an open format, meaning that other people can import their databases into these formats and the information can then be displayed in the program. One of the agencies that does this is the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Agency, or NOAA. NOAA produces and distributes nautical charts, tide tables, and weather predictions, and operates a fleet of research vessels that continuously map the seabed to keep these charts updated. NOAA publishes two databases of wrecks on their website which we can download and import into GE. The first is the Automated Wrecks and Obstructions Information System, or AWOIS. This is actually the older and less complete, but more useful data set because it includes information on the wrecks, including history and size. At least, sometimes it does. We'll come back to that in a moment. NOAA quit updating the AWOIS list in 2016 when they started moving to the ENC system. The other data set is ENC, or Electronic Navigation Charting, which is more current and extensive but contains less information. The ENC format is part of NOAA's move to electronic charts, and so each wreck notation on a chart should have a corresponding ENC entry. And in another 20 years, that may be true. It's a work in progress. You can download both the AWOIS list and the ENC database from nauticalcharts.noaa.gov/data/wrecks-and-obstructions. From the page, you just click on the KML files and they will automatically download and display in Google Earth. A word of warning though, these are huge databases and if you are zoomed out in GE, your computer may grind to a crawl while it reads and displays the thousands of records. Once the files load, they will be displayed on the left panel of GE in the Temporary Places folder. To keep a copy of this information on your computer, just drag them up into the My Places folder. You can toggle whether a specific record or a whole folder is displayed by checking the box next to that file or folder. To keep your computer from bogging down too much, I recommend zooming into the area you're interested in and then turning on the databases so that the software only needs to load a relative few targets at once. You'll want to download and save both the AWOIS and ENC datasets. Now, let's see how this works in the real world. To do that, we're going to head over to Seattle, at least in Google Earth. Here we're looking at Elliott Bay, and we're going to start by turning on the ENC Rex database by clicking on the checkbox next to it. That gives us 4 targets. If you click on one of the push pins, it gives you a little more information, including that it is a submerged, non-dangerous wreck, the chart that it appears on, the position, and the depth. Note the ENC targets display depth in meters, so get your thinking cap on to make the conversion. Next, we're going to turn on the AWOIS list. Note that 3 of the 4 now have a second push pin on the same position, and one of them even has 2 new pins. Welcome to the AWOIS data. If we click on the pins now, GE gives us a choice of which we want to see, and we can click on the AWOIS listing. Much of the information is the same, but the AWOIS listings often have a history section that describes when the wreck was reported, possibly its name, data syncing, and the agency's history with it. Also note the AWOIS depth may be in feet, fathoms, or meters. That said, some of the AWOIS listings can be summarized as, there's a historical wreck around here somewhere, and we should go look for it one of these days. So now that we have a lead on a wreck, can we verify if it really exists? Sometimes. I mentioned earlier that NOAA continuously maps the seafloor to produce charts and support other research efforts, and that raw data is available online. There are 2 big caveats to that. One is the database is slow and clunky, and the bigger one is the coverage is fairly limited. If there's coverage of the area we need, we can often verify the existence of a wreck and get at least some idea of its characteristics. For this, we head to another NOAA site at ncei.noaa.gov/maps/bathymetry. Start by turning off all the layers on the left-hand panel and then zooming into the area you want by dragging and using the zoom slider. For this example, let's head back to Elliott Bay. Once you're in the correct position, turn on the bag color shaded relief layer and wait a minute while it loads the data from the server. Hey, that looks like some wrecks. If you put your cursor over a spot on the map and look at the little gray box in the bottom left corner, it will give you the depth of that spot and a position. Unfortunately, the position is only into 3 decimal places, and that's not very accurate for our purposes. One of the nice features is the depth recordings are very accurate, and you can work out an object is 3 feet tall or 30 by comparing its depth with that of the surrounding seabed. Smaller or decayed wrecks may not show up at a glance on the bathymetry map, and so we need to head back over to GE and get the position of the wreck we are looking for. In GE, click on a pin and make a note of the coordinates out to 3 decimal places. Then, head back to the bathymetry site, and using the cursor position box, navigate to that point. If you have the patience, the bathymetry site is an excellent resource for finding uncharted wrecks and structures just by wandering around on the map. So now you have the tools to import open source data into Google Earth and find wrecks and verify them using bathymetric mapping. In the next video, we'll learn how to extract that bathymetric data out of the website into Google Earth and use to uncover more information on these wrecks. Thanks for joining me, and let's go have an adventure.